If you work in administration, you already know your job is the backbone of the entire organization. But what if I told you it's also the front line of its defense? Today, we're going to dig into how your role isn't just about support, it's about being a fundamental guardian of a safe environment for everyone. So, let's kick things off with a question that might hit a little close to home. Is your role sometimes seen as just processing paperwork? It's a huge misconception, because the reality is your work is incredibly important, especially when it comes to keeping people safe.
In fact, you're not just important, you are the first line of defense. I mean, really think about it. Safeguarding isn't just about reacting to problems after they happen. It's about preventing risks from ever getting through the door. And guess where that whole prevention process kicks off? Yep, it starts right at your desk.
All right, that brings us to our very first pillar, safer recruitment. This is all about building a solid foundation of trust right from the get-go, making sure that every single person who joins is suitable to be here.
And listen, this is a really key point. When we talk about safer recruitment, we're not just talking about your full-time hires. No, this applies to everybody. Staff, contractors, volunteers, you name it. Anyone who comes into contact with learners has to be vetted. It's a safety standard across the board.
Okay, so what does this actually look like for you day to day? Well, it's you managing all that crucial documentation, verifying ID checks, right to work status, and just making sure the right vetting processes have actually been done. And so critically, you're the one making sure all this sensitive data is stored securely and keeping an eye on those renewal dates. And this is something we absolutely have to remember. This isn't a one-and-done thing. A background check someone had 2 years ago doesn't mean they're still suitable today. That's why your role in monitoring renewal dates and tracking staff changes is so vital. You know, if someone moves into a new role with more learner contact, you're the one who makes sure the right checks get started all over again.
Okay, let's move on to our second pillar, policies in practice. Now, if recruitment is the gatekeeper, then policies are the framework for everything that happens inside. They give us the structure for safe operations. Think of your safeguarding policy as, well, the official rulebook. It's the guide that tells everyone what they're responsible for, how to report a concern, who to escalate it to. For an admin, knowing this policy inside and out isn't just a good idea, it's non-negotiable, because you're often the central point for all this communication.
But here's the thing, a policy is totally useless if it's just sitting on a shelf collecting dust, right? That's a static policy. What we need is a living policy, one that's an active, go-to guide for how we work every day. And you're the key to making sure it's a living document.
So how do you do that? Well, you're the central hub for communication. You're the one sending out the updated versions, making sure the new hires get all the right info during their induction, and so importantly, tracking that everyone has actually read and signed off on the latest guidelines. You literally keep the policy alive.
And that leads us perfectly into our third and final pillar, ongoing vigilance. This is all about the daily, continuous actions from everyone that maintain the entire culture of safety that we're trying to build.
You know, ongoing vigilance isn't just one person's responsibility. It's really a collective mindset. It's that constant attention, those small daily actions that all add up to create a genuinely safe environment. It's about weaving safeguarding into the fabric of everything we do.
And you, in your role, are a model for this every single day. Just by using professional language in your emails, keeping a respectful tone, handling data securely, and maintaining clear professional boundaries. You are actively upholding the kind of safe working practices that reduce risk for everybody.
So let's be super clear about this. Your administrative tasks are safeguarding actions. When you manage a secure record-keeping system, you're protecting incredibly sensitive information. When you track who's completed their training, you're making sure your colleagues are actually prepared. And when you provide data for risk assessments, you're helping the whole organization spot and fix potential problems.
And just think about your unique position for a second. You see how all the different parts of the organization connect with each other. That gives you a perspective that nobody else has. You are perfectly positioned to spot patterns, notice when something's off, or see where a process could be creating a risk. Your insights are absolutely invaluable.
So, what holds all of this together? The recruitment, the policies, the daily vigilance, it all comes down to professional accountability. Because at the end of the day, safeguarding isn't just for the designated lead. It is everyone's responsibility. Look, the bottom line is incredibly simple, and it's completely non-negotiable. Safeguarding is never optional, period. That means it needs a steady, unwavering commitment from you,
from your colleagues, from leadership, from every single person. So please, never, ever underestimate the power of what you do. Your attention to detail, your consistent communication, your commitment to the rules, it all creates a massive ripple effect. Your diligence is what directly protects learners, your colleagues, and the integrity of your entire organization.
So I want to leave you with a challenge for this week. As you go about your work, thinking about recruitment, about policies, about vigilance, what is one concrete action you can take to make your safeguarding practice even stronger? Thank you for the critical work you do every day.